You know those moments that change your life forever? The ones that split everything into a before and an after? That was her for me. The moment she walked into my life, everything shifted. It started with a glance across a crowded bookstore. A fleeting moment. But it was enough. She had an aura about her, something magnetic, something that made my breath hitch. I saw her fingers trace the spine of a novel, her eyes scanning the words as if she were searching for something deeper. I watched, entranced, until she looked up. Our eyes met. It was electric. Then, as quickly as she had appeared, she was gone, slipping through the aisles like a whisper. I found myself following, my feet moving before my mind could catch up. She exited the store, stepping into the gray drizzle outside, and I hesitated, just for a moment. But it was enough. When I stepped out, she was gone. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Days passed, but the image of her lingered. And then fate, or something else, intervened. I saw her again, sitting alone in a quiet cafe, stirring her coffee absent-mindedly. This time, I didn't hesitate. I walked over, my heart hammering. From that moment, we were inseparable. Every conversation was a journey, every moment a discovery. She had this way of making the world feel lighter, of making the mundane feel magical. I told her everything, my dreams, my fears, my past. And she listened, really listened, like no one ever had before. But then, the strange things began. It started with the way she knew things I hadn't told her, personal things. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe I had mentioned them in passing. Maybe I was imagining things. But it got stranger. One evening, we walked by the river, the city lights reflecting off the water. She turned to me suddenly and said, "Do you remember the accident?" My blood ran cold. "What accident?" I asked, though something deep inside me already knew. She just smiled, a sad, knowing smile. "You will." That night, I dreamt of flashing lights, of twisted metal, of sirens wailing in the distance. I woke up gasping, my chest tight. When I turned to her, she was awake, watching me, her eyes unreadable. "Are you okay?" I whispered. She reached out, her fingers brushing mine. "You should rest." The days blurred after that. She was always there, yet somehow not. I found myself losing time, slipping in and out of moments without realizing it. I would wake up and find myself in places I didn't remember going. The past felt like smoke, slipping through my fingers when I tried to grasp it. Then one evening, it all came crashing down. I found a photo, a picture of us, except it wasn't possible. The date on the back was from last year, but I had only met her weeks ago. My hands shook as I flipped through more. Pictures of us in places I didn't remember, wearing clothes I'd never seen before. I stumbled into the living room, my head spinning. She was there, waiting, as if she knew I had found them. "How?" My voice barely broke the silence. She took a step forward. "I told you. You would remember." And then it hit me. The accident. A rainy night. Headlights flashing. The screech of tires. The feeling of weightlessness before impact. The pain. The unbearable, all-consuming pain. And her. Her face. The last thing I saw before everything went dark. My knees buckled. She caught me before I hit the ground, her touch ice cold. "You didn't survive," she whispered. The room tilted. The world cracked. The walls seemed to breathe, shifting and warping around me. I was dead. I had been dead all along. And she? She was never alive to begin with.